Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with REMAX, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show, Niagara Edition, with host Stephanie Vivier.
Hey, Rob. How's it going today? How has your life in real estate been this week?
Well, it's beautiful weather. I'm enjoying it. And if it could stay like this all winter long, I'll be happier than anybody in this world because it's nice weather. You wear a light jacket in the evenings, and you can just, you wear a long sleeve during the day, and no, I'm enjoying it. It's great patio weather still, and it's fantastic. But
you know who we can talk to about getting this extended? Like who do we write? Who do we email?
I don't know. We got to manifest it. We got to pray for it. We got to manifest it. Everybody has to manifest at the same time, and then it'll come. It'll happen. That's for sure. You got to believe in it, believe that it's going to happen, and believe in it, and it will happen. That's how I believe. I believe, and I'm into that. I believe if you write things down, things will happen. If your subconscious mind will bring it, no matter what it is. So. I'm that positive thinking guy. So all those negative people out there, they don't like me because I'm always thinking positive. They're like, and the ones that are not happy, the ones that choose to be not happy or choose to not feel that things will get better. Things always get better.
All right. Well, what has real estate been manifesting for you this week?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you something. It's been a tough go for a lot of realtors out there, and everybody's going through the pain. And it's funny. I've been talking to restaurant owners. I've been talking to business owners of different types of businesses, and everybody is down in when I say down in business, volume business, transaction, whatever it is. Everybody's down. And so it's not just the real estate industry. So it's not that I'm accepting it, but I'm actually understanding that, hey, it's not just real estate. I think everybody's going through the aches and pains of the economy right now. I don't know if we're in a recession, but I don't like to use that word. And I think they stopped using that word. And I think it's just the new generation. The millennials probably said, hey, no more recession words. We're not going to use that. I mean, we're doing a lot of changes in this world, but I know a lot of realtors. Everybody's like, there's a whole switchover happening. They're leaving where they are. They're thinking it's that. It's not that. It's them. Realtors out there, they're just not working hard enough. And in this business, there's always business. It's how hard you want to work at this business. Because we're seeing realtors, we're always recruiting. We're always hiring realtors to join our team. And if they have a good, if they're good work ethic, they'll do fantastic with us. If they don't have a good work ethic and they just think things are just going to happen for them, we're the wrong company for that. But what I'm saying is that the people that are doing good business today, whether it's restaurant, whether it's any other industry, they're not hurting like other people are just because they're doing the business. So I just wanted to say, hey, if you're struggling out there and you want some guidance and you want some training and stuff like that, and you want a great brand behind you, give us a call. Like if you're a realtor listening, give us a call. I'm telling you, we've got one of the best training camps out there. We're not the number one real estate team in the region or even in Ontario for no reason. It's just because we have great training and we have great people. I got a great leadership team. I just want to let realtors know that if you decide to do a change, give us a call, check us out, see what we're all about. And
I know, Rob, a lot of people jumped in, during the heydays of COVID when prices were going crazy. Like it was probably a lot easier than it is now. And maybe, it was a cart before the horse sort of situation where you got a lot of sales and that kind of stuff, but maybe didn't get some of those core skills that you do in your training that will help them now.
Oh, absolutely. Like our core training, like you learn experiences with us and you learn, practical. Now, when you go on your own, you're just kind of learning practical. You're not learning experiences. And we talk about different experiences with the team. We have a team meeting every Tuesday morning. and we talk about situations that happen, and we talk about how to deal with it. And a lot of times, I'll tell you, people that join our team, what they learn in 2 years, most agents don't learn in 10, 15 years. Like, they literally become a very experienced agent on our team, just because of the experiences that we talk about. And it's amazing how our team is. We've got the best graduating class by far than any team out there. And I've had brokers tell us that. They said, Rob, when people decide to, go on their own after being with us, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, whatever, even 10 years, they say your agents, when they leave, they succeed. Most agents, sometimes when they work on a team, they go on their own, they fail, and they end up getting out of the business. But we've got the best graduating class of all time, just because of our training. We have a boot camp. Other agents from like other companies come to us, and they train in our boot camp to learn the business. And it's all about experiences and practical, not just practical. It's experiences, and that is the key for negotiating. That is the key to, when you are representing a buyer or a seller, and they're negotiating on your behalf, and to put that deal together and to get you the best price for that deal for you. And it's amazing. Yeah. Like, people, we always ask for reviews from agents, and we had agents from all, like I said, all different other brokerages, not just the REMAX that we're part of.
All right. So, yeah, give them a call, 905-641-0308, if you are interested in finding out more about that. And Rob, some of the things that your clients come to you for is investing. And I understand a friend of yours had a question for you this week when it comes to investing.
Yeah. So he said to me, Rob, he goes, I see this house. It's around the corner. If that house comes down to $500,000, I think I would buy it. And I said, don't do it. I said, no. I said, buy a duplex or triplex or fourplex. Buying a single family home as an investment property is not as it used to be. I remember when I was buying properties in Niagara Falls, and I remember my first property was $40,000. Now, I did work at GM. I worked at General Motors for 3 years. So,
really?
Yeah,
wow.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
No, I had no idea, Rob. No caller Rob here.
I know. And listen, I'm true Niagara. I got hired at 20 years old, and when I got the job, I knew I wasn't going to be there a long time. So I remember starting in June 1985, Ontario Street. So if anybody knows me that I worked with, they're probably retired by now. And but when I started, everybody thought I was a student because all the students were working that summer, right?
Yeah.
So September hits, there are students leave. I'm still there, and they go, "What are you doing here?" It's like, I go, "I'm one of you guys. I'm a full-time worker." And
you're hanging around.
But I did work at GM. I worked a ton of overtime, and I was working hard. I was there for 3 years and 3 months. 3 years and 3 months. I started June 1985. I left August of 1988. And when I started, the only reason I took that job is I knew I was going to buy real estate, and I did, because I had the credibility, the income, and everything to buy real estate. And when I bought real estate, I remember my first house was about $40,000. Now, back then, I think you're making probably about $30,000 to $40,000 at General Motors. And so if you think about it, if you had a good job, whatever your income was, it almost kind of matched what your house price was, like on the lower end. Like, so let's say if you even had, let's say you're making $40,000 and back in the late 80s, and you can buy a house 3 times as much. So if you're making 40, you can buy a house for 120,000. You can carry that house. You can buy it, carry it. And I remember the first house I bought was 40,000, no problem, and it was easy to rent. Easy to rent it out. You got rental income that would cover that. And but now you cannot buy a $500,000 house and with a rental income that would cover that. It just doesn't make sense. So I was telling my friend, I said, listen, buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, because the amount of down payment is not that much different than it is buying a single family home to rent. And so, and he says, really? I said, yeah. I said, I won't buy a single family. I own single family, a fair amount of single family homes. I can't afford to buy them and rent them out and for it to carry itself. So that's out of the equation. So now, because of that, you're going to find fewer and fewer single family homes for rent in the future, just because of the fact it's just not feasible for an investor to buy it and it carrying itself even at 20% down. So it's just the numbers aren't there. So now you got to go to the duplexes, the triplexes, and the fourplexes, and that's what I said to go for, because it's the only way that you're going to be able to get a return on investment.
And then when it comes to those duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, what kinds of things do you need to consider? Because obviously duplex, you've got maybe 2 tenants, triplex 3, and so on. So, for someone just jumping into that property management, investment game, what should they be thinking about?
You know what? I'll tell you, when you own a secondary property as an investment, the tax benefits that you get is unbelievable. You'd be amazed how much money you will save just because of the tax benefits. There's a lot of great things. Like, the one thing is, don't try to manage it yourself if you don't want to. Get a property management. We have our own property management. It's called Golfy Property Management. Get a property management company to take care of that property for you, and you will find that it'll be headache free. And then you will 5-10 years down the road, you're going to be like, oh my, I can't believe this. My net worth just went up quite a bit. So not only your net worth is going up on your personal residence, it's also going up on your investment. So you just got to buy decent locations and make sure it's taken care of, and that's it. You know what? I'll tell you. Like, I'm in the real estate business. I'm a real estate investor, and people have different things. And I'm not saying if you're going to invest in the ETFs, the ones that the tax-free savings, those are great things. But get ones that are dividends. Go into bank stocks, because they're always good. If you want to play it safe, go there. But if you want to have something that outperforms those, go buy real estate. You will be surprised. You just got to get the right people to help you manage and to take care of your investment, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's a great way to build wealth.
Well, I know in, different places, there's different rules for if it's a duplex or triplex. I've looked at listings before, and sometimes it says it's legal or it doesn't say it's legal. And I imagine you'll be able to walk clients through all of that, right?
Absolutely. See, I'm that guy that's not afraid to buy a illegal duplex, right? It's not. I'm not advising people to do that. It's not a way to do. But because I'm a savvy investor, I can work that out. I'm willing to take the consequences if it does happen. They may say, hey, you can't do a duplex here. You may have to have the tenant move out of the basement and stuff like that. Sometimes, but as long as you got big enough windows in the basement that they can escape in case if there is a fire hazard, I don't think there's going to be a problem, because there is a shortage of homes right now, and the city is kind of closing one eye a little bit in those circumstances. So, but again, not a problem. If I'm representing you, I would look for a legal duplex, legal triplex. Make sure you get a certificate from the town or the city indicating that it is a legal duplex. You don't want to find out that the MLS listing says that it's a duplex and it isn't. It happens often. So people, when you're buying, be very careful. Make sure the agent gets a certificate from the city. It costs about $100, and you will verify that it is a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You don't want to be in trouble and find out it isn't. And that's one of the most important things. But yeah, definitely. My opinion is don't buy a single family home. Buy the duplex, triplex, fourplex if you're going to buy your first investment property.
Okay, some great advice there from Rob Golfi here on the Golfi Real Estate Show, Niagara Edition. If you want to call their team, 905-641-0308, online at robgolfi.com. Rob, stick it around. We got more with Rob Golfi here on News Talk 610 CKTB. Welcome back to the Rob Golfi Real Estate Show, Niagara Edition. I'm your host, Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is here today already with some great advice when it comes to getting into that investment game for real estate. And, there's all kinds of terms, Rob. People who've purchased real estate before may have heard some of them, but every once in a while something pops up that I've just never heard of. And I don't know this one. What is an assignment for condo?
So an assignment sale is, I'm gonna do layman's terms. I'm gonna read what it says. Assignment sale is when a person purchased a condo, and let's say they purchased it 2 years ago, and they want to sell it before they take possession, and they want to unload it and maybe do a flip, like have a lift on what the price is. So let's say they bought it for $400. They want to try to sell it for $500 before they take possession, so they didn't have to close on the deal. Now, here's what it is. It refers to a transaction in which the original buyer of a pre-construction or newly built condominium sells their purchase agreement to another buyer before the unit is officially completed or ownership is transferred. In this type of sale, the new buyer assumes the rights and obligations under the original purchase agreement, including the price and terms agreed upon with the developer. Now, here's some key points about assignments. So over here it says no ownership transfer yet. In assignment sale, the original buyer has not yet taken possession of the property as the condo is still under construction or awaiting final closing. So what's being sold is the right to own the property in future. Now, the price by the seller includes the original deposit made by the assignor to the developer by additional premiums or payments negotiated between the assignor and the assignee. So basically, a lot of that's happening right now because a lot of people bought these. Closing dates are happening. One is that they can't close on the deal. So they bought it with the intention to resell it before they take possession. A lot of people do this, especially in Toronto, but we're in a different market now. Things changed. So now they have to take possession. And if they can't take possession, the builder, the developer takes over and he will sue you if he can't sell it for the price that you bought it for. Now, 3 years ago, condos were very expensive. They dropped quite a bit. So a lot of them are going up for sale. So I had one of my newer agents said that they have a friend that wants to give us a listing, and it's an assignment sale. And I said, stay away from it. I don't want them because there's so many condos for sale right now. A lot of investors are trying to unload. They can't afford to keep them, and they need to get rid of them. So trying to sell an assignment sale is even more difficult because, one, the developer, a lot of the times, if you try to sell that condo before that building has finished, and they do not want that because they probably have condos themselves they want to sell and they don't want to compete with that. So you can't advertise it. You can't put on MLS. You can't do anything with it. So, they wanted us to list it privately. Hopefully we have a buyer. But the problem now is there's too many for sale. It's not worth taking them. And I feel bad for the people that got stuck with these condos that they purchased 2-3 years ago, and now they're being finished right now, and they're going to have to take possession. And a lot of them can't. A lot of them, the banks won't give them the money. They don't have the money. They just had enough money for the deposit. They thought they're going to flip it and make another $50,000 to $100,000. It's not happening. So now they're going to lose their deposit, and they're also going to get sued for the difference if the developer has to sell it for less money, which is the case right now that's happening with all developers in Canada. And so that the assignment sale is great when the market's good. But when you come into a market like we are now, not good. And we've had probably a little bit of a bad market in 2017. Didn't last very long. the 90s, they weren't building as many condominiums in the 90s as they are now because of the high density buildings and units they want out there. But a lot of people are getting stuck. We were getting a lot of assignment sales, especially last year, and they're asking us, and we just said, you know what, take possession. We'll put it up for sale, and then we can advertise it. And developers do not. If you don't have possession, basically it's all word of mouth after that.
Yeah, some people in some tough spots there because, I mean, not only those investors, Rob, but like you outlined, I think people purchase these kind of with the hopes like they could have scrapped together that down payment. And I know there's usually a schedule of like how much money you have to put down. And they thought, okay, well, by time I'm going to have to put a mortgage on this, I can. But circumstances have changed so much and interest rates have gone up that they're not qualifying for it anymore. So it's a best laid plan situation where people are really suffering.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, a lot of, especially in Toronto, a lot of investors made a fortune. Like they would buy 5 condos, and they would have them all sold, and they probably made 50 to 100,000 on each condo before they took possession. So not a bad gig, but now it's like people. They're at the tail end of that market, and now they got stuck, and a lot of people got stuck. They got in trouble, and so I just say, you know, my theory is if you're going to invest in something that you got income coming in, and you can get income coming in on these condos, but it doesn't give enough income to cover the expenses. You buy a $500,000. $600,000 condo with the condo fees, taxes, and insurance on these condos, and with the mortgage, you are losing money every month. Yes, it's a tax write-off, but you're going to be losing money every month, and it could take 10 years before you recoup, and then you look at your margins and find out, oh wow, you know what, it was better to put my money in something else. Like I said, to me, I avoid condos. I don't have any condos. I've had some condos in the past when they were cheaper, and it covered, not a problem, but not now. I wouldn't touch it. And I know there's condo developers out there maybe listening saying, you know, don't say that. That's not good. Hey, if you want to buy a condo for yourself to move into, fantastic. I would do that. Not a problem. No hesitation. You don't have to worry about anything. You can go on vacation, lock the door, walk out, and you don't have to worry about cutting the lawn or doing anything else. But and you know, and oh, I forgot to mention there was maintenance fees too. Like it's not cheap. And I'll tell you, the condo when they're selling the condos to you, when you're sitting in that room and you're looking, you know, at what unit you want, what floor you want, and they say the condo fees are going to be this much. I'll tell you, every year after that, they just keep going up, and it doesn't stop. They raise it every single year, and all of a sudden, 5-10 years later, you're quadrupled the condo fees, and I know that. Like I know buildings that have $500-600 a month condo fees. Some of them are $1,000, depending on, you know, what they're offering, if water is included with the condo fees or not. But got to be very, very careful. The condo fees will go up, no doubt, and just be prepared for that if you're going to buy a condo.
Another way people invest a lot, Rob, if you look at any university, the houses around there, you know, parents will buy a house when their kid is going to a university and maybe rent it out to some other students. But apparently there's been a downturn in these rentals recently.
Yes. And there's a downturn. Plus there's an upturn of apartment buildings going up. So the federal government lowered the cap of international study permits. Basically, after a public outcry over the large increase in number of international students coming to Canada, many brokers said they had to reduce their rent prices. So what's happening, because they reduced the amount of international students coming into Canada, that means they're not renting as many properties. So there's a lot of empty properties. So a lot of investors had to drop their prices. But here's another thing I'll tell you. Maybe not so much at Brock University. There's not too many new buildings going up there, but I know in Hamilton there is. And what it is that I personally, I'd be very careful. If I was investing in a student rental, I would be very close to the university and try not to get too far outside of it. But there's a lot of apartment buildings going up, not too far from McMaster University, you're going to see a lot of students going in there. The buildings are new. The parents are going to love, having them go there. It's a safe building, all that kind of stuff. And they know the superintendents aren't going to tolerate, major parties, all that kind of stuff. If I had a child going to university, yeah, they all want to, 5, 6 of them want to be in the same house, and it's a lot of fun. I get you. I would want to do that too when I was, 18 years old, 19 years old. But you're seeing a lot of apartment buildings going up, and that is going to take away from the people that are investing and trying to rent their homes, and usually you rent it with 5, 6 students in a home, and it's a good thing, for the renter. But if you're going to buy around a university, try to buy very close to the university, almost walking distance to the university, or close to a bus stop where they can just walk out the door, 1 block away from a bus stop, and that's it. But the further away from the university you're buying, as a single family detached with 5, 6, 7 bedrooms in there, be very, very careful. You're going to have a hard time renting it, and you might end up with an empty investment property with no income, and you're going to have to dish out money every single month to maintain and carry that property. So be very, very careful. But the international students are a huge part of the rental market in this country.
Yeah, I mean, they are. And, the lower numbers is definitely going to have an effect there. Rob, like you mentioned that often, they're renting out the different bedrooms. What advice do you have anybody who wants to get into this business? Because like you said, there are some homes close, and you've kind of outlined some location factors when it comes to thinking about it. What else should people think about if they think, oh, my kids go in there, I don't want to pay rent, I might as well invest?
Yeah, a lot of people do that, but it's becoming tougher. Like as a parent, if you know your student, I wouldn't do it the first year. Okay, if you have a student going to university, if you got a child going to university, let them stay in residence or whatever, because you want to make sure they're going to make it through the first year. Because
got to make sure it sticks.
Yeah, don't they have a terminology by is it Christmas or is it Thanksgiving that the turkey something, I don't know what they call it, but you got to make sure, don't buy a property that your child's first year, because what happens if that course or that they don't do well in school, it's just not for them, and all of a sudden they tell you, hey mom, dad, I don't want to, I'm not, I can't do this, I'm out. And now you own a property that you're banking on them staying there for 4 or 5 years. And now you have to resell it, and you're going to probably lose money because you just bought it. Now you have to resell it the following year. So you got to be very careful. So if you have a student going to university and you want to buy a property, and then their friends can move in with them, do it when they're a second year. They made some friends. After the first year, that's when they start deciding where they want to live, how they want to live. They're going to get out of the residence so that they can have their own house. Do it on the second year. Even if you own the property for 3 or 4 years, you'll make your money back. You'll make the money back that you had to pay for your child for rent. And so you'll be fine. It happens all the time. But again, those properties are getting more expensive, and it's hard to carry. And that's why they're trying to put too many bedrooms in these student rentals. Like before, there used to be maybe 4 bedrooms, maybe 5, but now they're trying to swing like 6 to 8 bedrooms in a house. It's too many people, like, you know what I mean, in one house. And then you have major parties and stuff like that. I mean, in London, you got Fanshawe, and you got, I can't remember what the other, Western University. They're known as the #1 party town in North America. I think I would like to go visit there when I was in my early 20s and late teens. Apparently they still hold a record for the party town for university and college. So, but be very, very careful. And bylaw guys are driving around, and they're looking. If you got too many people without, easy access out of the basement for getting out, you will get shut down on those properties. So be very careful when you're buying a university property.
Yeah, I've lived and worked in London, Rob, and I think it was the 2012 St. Patrick's Day. They lit a cop car on
Yeah,
fire. And
yeah. I know. There's a lot. I hear a lot of stories out there. I had my kids go out there to visit their friends, and they were there. There was a lot of stuff, and I know people that went there 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it sounds like a lot of fun. I even sounds like a lot of fun for me to go there now too.
well, we're glad you're here with us now. Rob Golfi is here. This is the Golfi Real Estate Show Niagara edition. We have more with Rob right after this here on News Talk 610 CKTV. Welcome back. This is the Golfi Real Estate Show Niagara edition. I'm Steph Vivier, and Rob Golfi is with us today talking all things real estate, what you need to know today to be successful in the world of real estate. And Rob, you've told us stories in the past about some nightmare tenants, and I even think we've talked a little bit about this story here. Didn't this woman buy this house and then she couldn't move into it because the tenants wouldn't move out, right?
Absolutely. So she buys this house and she takes possession, and she takes possession with the tenant in there. Well, there was a big mistake there. She should have did a walkthrough the day before and not take possession. So that was, I'm not sure whose fault was that. I think the realtor should have taken her through and walked her through. And if the tenant wasn't out, say, hey, I'm not taking possession of this. You don't have your tenant out. She wouldn't have had this headache. But the one problem that she's going through, and she's trying to get the tenant out. But here's the other problem. So the tenant is leaving tons of garbage all over the front lawn. And bylaws giving her a fine because of them, which she feels it's wrong. There was an article that says the bylaw officer slapped on her townhome June of this year, requiring piles of random belongings from bikes and office chair to bed frames and love seats to be cleared from her front yard. And she's getting fined for it. And what does she do? If she goes there and starts taking it away, they're gonna start freaking out, thinking she's stealing it. And so how does a person deal with this? And her thing is that she's saying, why should I have to deal with this? Why am I getting the fine? Shouldn't the tenant that's living there get a fine? Or, you know what I mean? Like, they're the ones that making the mess. And I'm all for that. I truly believe that. And I understand this lady's frustration, because I own a commercial property. It's on a corner, and people are dropping garbage there. I used to have a bin there, and we would lock it, and people would just throw garbage right beside the bin. Oh, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, and bylaw would say, hey, listen, you got garbage all over there. And so anyway, we got rid of the bin. So all the store owners, they have to leave their garbage at the end of at the sidewalk on garbage day. We just can't do it. Like people are just dropping garbage there. And I mean, it's so rude. If you're one of those people that are going and dropping garbage off at commercial plazas and stuff like that, do you understand the kind of headaches that you're causing for the owner of the plaza and the and whatever? It's not right. Do the right thing. Buy those tags. If you got extra garbage bags, pay for the tag. It's $1, I think, or $2. I don't know. It's cheap. Put it on the bag and they'll take it away. Why inconvenience somebody else's life so that you can have an easy life? You can tell I'm ranting here. But
it is a lot of cost. You just said the headache, but that's cost, for your commercial plaza. It also could cost you, like, maybe someone's coming to rent and they see that and they go, well, I'm going to rent this place, But, to the tags I've seen on Facebook groups, often neighborhoods have Facebook groups. And so, some households, like my household, I always have extra. So I'll post on there, hey, does anyone need any extra? So even if you can't pay, right, because they give you more than the weeks for that. So if you can't pay, there's like ways to get other stickers. But just, you're right, do the right thing. And if it's cost prohibitive or whatever for any reason, like, there's a way to get around that.
Oh yeah. So the one time, so the bylaw guy calls me up, right, and he's talking to me. He goes, well, Rob, you got to clean up that garbage there. And I says, you do know that garbage was not from any of the tenants. It's not from me. People are dropping it off. I go, I just want to understand that you know that. And he goes, yes, okay, that's all. I just don't want you to feel I'm doing that. Like, I just have to explain myself. And he goes, I understand. So, but they give you a certain timeline to get rid of it. And if you don't get rid of it, they fine you.
Oh,
And you know
wow.
what I mean? They fine you. And I feel bad. This lady has had like a streak of bad luck, and it
I bet you she is ruining the day she ever put the offer in on this place.
oh my God, she's probably never gonna. Can't wait to get out of Hamilton. She lives in
Exactly.
and I don't even
Maybe
know if
she's
she's
not
moved
even
in.
in the house yet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
Like
think
it's
the
just
tenants are still
oh
there.
yeah, and the tenants are still there. You know what? And here I'm gonna tell you something. In 10 years from now, it's going to be so hard to rent a single family home because landlords, the mom and pa landlords, are going to be gone forever. The person that wants to buy a single family home and as an investment property and just to get ahead in life, they're not doing it. They're not going to do it through real estate. Okay, and what they're going to say, I don't need the headache. So guess what? There's going to be very little single family homes. So now, if you can't afford to buy a house, and the only way you can go and get started is rent a house, which there's not going to be any houses. You're going to have to rent an apartment. And if you have kids, you're going to have to move in to an apartment building, raising your kids until you can afford to buy a house on your own and move in, which could be a decade, especially the way house prices are. So like the city has to change that. They don't understand. They do not understand. They're not investors. The people that work for the city, the mayor, everybody, they're not investors. They're not people. They don't understand. They're going to kill the rental market in this country if they don't do something about it. Because the investor's going to say, I'm not interested. Guess what? There's not going to be any rental homes. You're going to have to go in an apartment building. And now you're going to stack 5-6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment in some building, and it's just going to be chaos in the building. They got to change it. So first, you got tenants leaving garbage all over the front lawn. Now, if they don't clean it up, and then you go there to try to clean it up, they get all freaked out, and police are coming and all that kind of stuff. And then they're not paying the rent. And it takes a year to get the tenant out, and you've lost $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000 because this tenant there is not paying you. They don't understand. The city does not understand. The municipalities do not understand that there will be no rental homes for rent in 10 years from now.
Yeah, it's an interesting question with this one that brings up because people should know like any of these kinds of bylaw issues are really attached to whoever owns the home, right? Like it's not just if your tenants got garbage, if they've, they're doing any other number of things. Like you really are on the hook for a lot of stuff. And, I wonder if it is time for city councils to look and change that a little bit. Because as you're saying, it's becoming a less friendly place for people to be those smaller landlords.
Well, it is. It's easier to chase the homeowner because they just add it to the taxes. They'll just say, hey, if you don't clean it up, we'll get our guys to go there and we're going to charge you a fortune. And like if you got a front lawn that's dirty, we're going to come there. If you don't cut your grass, we're going to come there and we're going to just add it to your taxes. You can't, you can't beat that. You can't fight that. It's hard. So they got you. The tenant, they got nothing. They can't do anything to the tenant. Like, what's he got? Oh, here's a fine. I'm not paying it. They got nothing to grab from him to get that money, and that's why they go after the homeowner. But they should fine the tenant, and if they do that, then you'll start seeing people smartening up. Like I said, the landlord-tenant board has to be cleaned up. They got to fix that. And also the bylaw people have to do something also. So there's a lot of changes that have to be made, and it doesn't get made. And we're going to have the punishment of that in years to come. And you're going to find that somebody wants to rent a house. There's not many out there. And that's going to get go up in price. Rental homes will be so expensive in 10 years from now because it's going to be very few of them available. And if you want to live in there, you're going to have to pay big bucks. Otherwise, you're going to have to move into an apartment building.
Coming up on September 24th, you have your buyer seminar. Rob, do you do this every single month, these buyer seminars?
Yes. Every fourth Tuesday of every month, we have a buyer seminar. Now you log in, you can listen to it. It's about an hour. It is great. You can register at golfywebinar.com. Webinar.com. 8 steps to home ownerships. Several real estate experts. I come on there every month, discuss, how I started buying real estate and everything, just like we're talking right now. But it is a great event, no obligation, but it's very informative on buying a house. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're a first time buyer, there's questions. We look at questions we can we'll answer for you. It is a great seminar for somebody that's looking at buying or thinking about buying in the future. There's so many tips there that you'd be amazed that you didn't even think of that we talk about that will definitely help you in the home buying process and everything like that. But don't be afraid to go on. Don't be afraid, for questions and everything. Nobody sees who you are. They just basically you listen in, you see who we are, but nobody sees who you are or your name or anything like that. So when you log in on golfywebinar.com, you're totally anonymous, and you can type in questions and we'll answer them for you. And it's a great thing for especially first-time buyers that want to buy a house. It's every fourth Tuesday of every month. So the next one is on the September 24th, and it's usually about 7 p.m. that we do it. A great seminar webinar to listen to. Even if you got nothing going on, put that on, and you'll be really happy that you listened to it.
golfywebinar.com to sign up. What are some of the questions that people ask, Rob?
You know what? Pre-approvals, what they should look for when in a house. You know what I mean? Like you got to be very careful, especially, most first-time buyers are buying houses that are probably, 30 to 50, even 75 years old. So you got to be very, very careful what to look for. Getting pre-approvals with mortgage brokers, banks, and stuff like that. Home inspections, what to look for. You know what? There's about 4 or 5 key things. You got to look at the windows, see what condition they are. And most houses that were built in the last 25, 30 years, they have vinyl windows. Furnace is important. Shingles are important. And then after that, every house has a kitchen, but is it updated or is it dated? That's up to you to decide whether you want to go with it. Same thing with the bathrooms. You got to make sure everything's looking good. Plumbing, electrical. There's houses with aluminum wiring. You got to change all the receptacles if you have that. If the homeowner hasn't done that, you got to make sure it's got breakers, not fuses, because the insurance company is going to want you to have breakers on the panel. Look at the shingles. Look at that, and I look at the downspouts. Make sure how are they maintaining their house with the water, leaving, from the east troughs to the downspouts. Are they cleaning the east troughs? Are the filters cleaned in the furnaces? There's so many different things. Like I always push against the shower walls to make sure they're not soft. If they're, you don't want to push too hard, then your hand goes through, then you have to fix it. So, but I put my hand against the shower walls to see if they're soft or they're solid. And I'll tell you, houses that were built in the 60s and they put tile in them, they are solid like it was made yesterday. These houses in the 60s with the showers, the blue tile and the pink and all that kind of stuff. Though I'll tell you, when they put tiles on those days, they made it to last forever. And like no water penetrates those tiles. And but you look at that, you look at the attic, there's vermiculite insulation in there. You want to make sure you don't have that. Otherwise, you got to get that all sucked out and put new insulation in. That's a cost factor. Those are things that you got to look at when you're buying a house. And then also the negotiations, get the right realtor, right location where you want to buy. There's all those aspects of it.
And just about a minute left here, but we wanted to outline the Win in Any Market event happening at Liona Station in Hamilton. And this is for agents or would-be agents to attend.
Yes, we have an event called Win in Any Market, and you can go on wininanymarketevent.com. This is great if you're looking at being a realtor or you are a realtor. There's so much information. We bring in speakers there to talk about the market, to talk about how to better your business. We get people from other, like not even in the real estate business, come there and learn from us. It's a free event. Come and check it out. It's worth it. I'll tell you, you'll learn so much about how to do business, especially in marketing and real estate, and also just regular business.
And just get to meet some fun folks too, and go say hi to Rob. That's coming up October 9th, wininanymarketevent.com to find out all the info. Rob, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you so much.
And if you want to get a hold of the number one REMAX team in Canada, the Golfi team, give them a call, 905-641-0308, or online at robgolfi.com. That's Rob, GOLFI.com. Thank you so much for listening. This is News Talk 610 CKTB.